Okay, we're doing it again. We are back. It's PB and Jax, Pioneers and Builders in Jacksonville. It's my favorite show in the world. We have a wonderful episode and a special episode. We're here on location at the Myrtle Avenue Brewery for their 3-year anniversary celebration. I'm here with the owner, founder, president, head brewer, everything, Sean Bielman. Yeah, Sean, welcome to PB and Jax, man. I'm so happy to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I said before we started filming, man, anytime you can sit down and have a conversation and drink a beer, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
Yeah, 3 years. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. The journey to get here has been interesting. You've been in the building longer than 3 years, but you decided to outfit it and start brewing beer here, and really you wanted to bring a community aspect to this brewery, and I know we're here today to celebrate that. Walk us through what the last 3 years have been like.
Well, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I'll start there. The last 3 years have been fun. It's been great to see the business grow, but also the community that we've been able to foster within these walls.
Yeah.
It's been an honor really to be able to do it. Obviously I'm passionate about brewing, and that's something that I always like to try to bring to the table. But for this project, my wife and I, when we kind of sat down and we were going over what we thought we wanted this business to be and what we wanted the ethos of sorts to sort of represent, we kind of kept on coming back to community. And so at this point, we only do things based off of whether or not it helps our community.
Yeah.
So that's our whole goal here. And if somebody wants to host an event with us and it's a charity or a community-oriented event, we say yes. That's as simple as that.
Or a graduation party.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
we love parties.
Yeah. Speaking of your wife, you're the second Bielman to be on PB and Jax.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it really is. She's a woman of many talents. She's great. And I'm so glad that she introduced you and and I've had the chance to come here a few times and see what you guys are about.
Shout out to Jody Bielman.
Shout out to Jody. Yeah, man, so it's your anniversary.
Yeah.
I know that you guys have had a jam-packed week, just concerts and live music and food vendors and showcasing the people who rent out the building, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But
yeah,
are you exhausted?
Getting there.
Yeah.
I think that you stay motivated when you see everybody else having a good time.
Yeah.
When you come in from your other job and you show up here to have a good time, it definitely keeps you invigorated. I sometimes feel like how maybe other people feel when they come here, when they got off their job and they just want to come and relax, maybe bring their kids, maybe bring the whole family, have a good time, and grab a bite to eat. It feels good.
Yeah, dude, that's great. I'm fascinated by this building. It's historic, to say the least. We're in the rail yard district. We're right by the glass factory. And I know that this building has gone through so many iterations to get to what it is today as a brewery.
Yep.
You've been here since 2013.
That's correct.
Yep. And for everybody that is watching and doesn't know this, you also own the Engine 15 brewery down at the beach.
That's correct. Yeah, started that in 2010.
Yep, and you just celebrated 15 years.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. That's outstanding. So 15 years at Engine, 3 years here.
Yep.
This building kind of started as a production facility for Engine.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Can you let's walk through the origin stories. You took over this building in 2013. Kind of walk through what it was originally intended for, and then we'll kind of walk our way into the fact that we're selling beer out of it now.
Okay, great. Yeah, Engine 15, we opened that in 2010 out in Jax Beach. By 2013, we were ready to expand, but there's only so much room out at the beach. We needed bigger walls, bigger ceilings to be able to start actually producing bigger batches of beer to go into distribution. That was the next frontier for us as a business. So we ended up here, over here at Myrtle Avenue. We were kind of looked at as kind of rebels and weirdos, going, "Where are you going?" They're like, "That doesn't seem right." But we loved it. We fell in love with the area. We fell in love with the historic nature of this area. And by end of 2013, beginning of 2014, we had a 20-barrel brew house that we were operating in here. We had 60 and 90-barrel fermenters. We had a bottling line, a full automated, system. We were doing distribution throughout the state at one point.
Okay.
Producing roughly 6,000 barrels a year out of this location, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so 3 years ago, you decided that this had an opportunity to be more than just that.
Yeah, and to take it back another step from that, there was something that happened at the beginning of 2020. I don't know exactly, but something happened and it changed the course for us a little bit.
I heard it was a pandemic.
Something
I
like
can't
that.
confirm.
I can't remember exactly. It's been so long ago, but yeah, the pandemic was a bit rough for my industry in general. There was a lot of breweries that got hit hard. There was a decision made within Engine 15 to walk back what we were doing as far as a distribution brewery and sort of revert back to our original state as just a tap room.
Yep.
It wasn't something that I was particularly wanting to do, but as a business, you kind of have to do what you got to do. But with us ending up closing down our production facility here at Myrtle, it opened up an opportunity for my wife and I to kind of venture out and do our own thing. So about 4 years ago, the concept of our own tap room, not affiliated with Engine 15, came into existence. Myrtle Avenue Brewing was actually a working name.
Oh,
It was not the original name of the brewery. We were shopping around a bunch of names. We were trying to come up with something, and we ended up using Myrtle Avenue Brewing just because it's easy as our placeholder while we were talking about what we wanted to name it. And by the time the full concept came around, we had already fallen in love with the name, and
Yeah.
I think the fact that it is gives it a place by the nature of it being the name of the road, it just felt right for us. We wanted people to know where we're at, and the easiest way to do that is to name
Put
it
it
where
in,
it's
yeah.
at.
There's so much homage in here to the history of this area, this
Yeah.
building, its roots. I kind of want to make sure that we talk about that a little bit. Like, kind of walk us through a little bit of the history of this area and this building, and it's fascinating. And I want to make sure everybody kind of gets to understand, like, the fact that it's a brewery now is insane, because what it was when it was constructed was nothing like that.
Correct.
So what was this at the beginning?
Yeah, so this building has had a lot of lives, and hopefully it'll live a lot more. So it was built in the mid-20s, and it was originally built as a grocer's warehouse. So back in those days, they didn't have really good refrigeration, so the best they could hope to do was to just moderate how hot or cold a building got.
Yeah.
So it's an all-structural steel building with 3 courses of hollow brick to be insulation.
Yeah.
An 8-inch lightweight concrete roof. And it was built by a grocer outfit called J.W. Field. So they were a local grocer, and this was their big storage warehouse. A couple years on from that, the next door neighbor, who was a city council member and a local businessman named Gustav Muller, he was using the warehouse next door as his storage warehouse for his businesses. He had the Burbridge Hotel downtown, a lot of restaurants, that sort of thing. So it was beer, wine, liquor, and food storage warehouse. He ended up acquiring this building in the 30s, and then later in that decade, the company PP&G ended up buying both these buildings, and then they commissioned a fairly well-known local architect by the name of Henry Clouthier to design them a storage warehouse that was really going to be a showroom for them. That building is across our parking lot. It's now known as the Glass Factory, which is a big event venue that my wife and I are honored to help say that we sort of started that. She wanted to get married in there in 2015, and I obliged, and now it's a wedding venue. So that was really cool. That company, PP&G, is now, it was then Pittsburgh Plate and Glass. Now it's just known as PPG. They're known as making automotive paints and stuff like that. But yeah, from there it became a bunch of different things. When I originally was introduced to this building, it was a carpenter's cabinetry making warehouse, but it was in rough shape and in need of a lot of repair. So we set to it to get it all cleaned up and turn it into a brewery.
Yeah. What kind of undertaking was it to get this thing cleaned out and get it ready?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
a lot of hot and sweaty days. The company that was in here operating, they didn't. I don't think they knew what a vacuum was. There was inches of sawdust covering every square foot of everything, including all the rafters. And so I spent months on a scissor lift just blowing off the rafters so we can paint, and cutting the concrete to put in trenches. The easy part was putting the equipment in. It was all the peripheral things that had to be done before we got to that point. So,
yeah. Well, it's fully functional now, man. You know, I've been here quite a few times. I've hosted my own parties here.
Yeah.
The beer's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to me about this one. This is the anniversary beer, I believe.
It is, correct. Yeah.
It's a hazy.
Yep, exactly. We call that a Mab World made with Galaxy hops.
Okay.
So, hazy IPA.
Why did y'all pick a hazy for the anniversary beer?
That was actually, this is a collaboration between my wife and our brewer, Patrick. So Patrick Pruitt's our brewer here, and my wife loves Galaxy hops. Any beer that has Galaxy hops in it, she tends to go for, and we never really used them before in this brewery, so it was really a collaboration between the two of them to come up with something where she could get her favorite hops in a beer, and she came up with the name of Mab World, and it was a perfect a perfect way to have both in one glass.
Yeah, it's fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I want to make sure that if anybody's never been here, because you keep coming back to this community aspect, like, oh, we want community, which means you really want anybody that has any kind of scenario-based life to feel comfortable here. Like if you have kids, if you don't have kids, if you live close, if you live far, it doesn't matter. Like there's something here for you. And so for anybody that hasn't been here, I kind of want to paint this like visual picture, right? So when they walk in, there's this really nice beer garden where people can hang. Then there's an opportunity for people to eat, right? You have a food vendor, and I know you wanted to shout her out.
Yeah, Chef Chris.
Yeah.
From Route 90 Barbecue and the Beaver Street Commissary, correct?
Yeah, and so she's here, and I know she's here at least every Saturday, but what are there other days she's here as well?
Thursdays and Saturdays.
Thursdays and Saturdays.
Yep. And then we supplement on those other days, so we try to have food every day.
Yep.
And it's another way for us to help other local businesses, get a foothold, so it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, different food vendors. So beer garden, food vendors, playground.
Correct.
For the kids, right? And then if you kind of look to the left, it's like L-shaped, then there's a stage set up. So if anybody needs to, if they want to play live music, or even if they want to host like a team event and somebody wants to get up there and start rattling off what the Q4 numbers looked like, that exists.
Yep.
With a brand new grass wall backdrop that Jody built, which is great. And then for anybody who wants to kind of be leisurely, look at where we're at now, man. This is about as comfortable as it gets. We get to sit here. Obviously, you have the bar.
Yep.
There's another kids' play area, and there's some TVs for people that want to watch TV.
Yep.
And then there's like a dining section, the big dining table where people can host parties. It looks like it could fit up to 20 people.
Yep.
And they have their own sets of TVs and whatnot. So that was a mouthful, but you guys built this thing as a way to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to get in here. Why was that so important?
I don't know if it needs much of an explanation other than just it's what we want. We're my wife and I if you're in the bar industry, if you're in the brewing industry, you're a social person probably by nature, and for us it just made so much sense to if we're gonna be spending so much time here, if we're gonna be raising our kids here, it should be some place that makes us happy and reflects our values and what we want. And so it just it was not it wasn't, there's no big master plan per se to it, like there's some big objective. It's really making something that we're happy to and proud to represent and to be a part of, really.
Yeah. So all I talked about was where people can come in and drink and eat. I didn't even talk about the fact that we have a whole warehouse where we are allowing other companies to employ their service. Like they can store their inventory, they can sell their inventory out of the area, and they get an opportunity to have a place that they can house their business.
Correct. Yeah.
Another question, what was the thought around that? Was that an original intent when you guys had the space? Did it kind of come to you? And talk about the vendors that are in there now.
Okay. Yeah, so what you're talking about is what we've dubbed commercial co-work. So everybody understands what co-work is, right? Yeah. They think cubicles, they think laptops, and they think a bunch of people on their headsets working, so for us, this is that, but for businesses that might be on the commercial scale or need warehousing space versus, loading docks and pallet jacks and forklifts versus cubicles and, laptops.
Yeah.
But as far as how we came about doing it, it was part necessity. We have this big warehouse that we used to have a big brewery in. We're now really more of a tap room brewery. We have a much smaller equipment. But it was also kind of, I guess, a natural progression for us to, want to surround ourselves with our friends, want to surround ourselves with other creators, other makers, people that, are out running their own little businesses, and there's definitely a niche for it. There's people that need that kind of thing. They don't need a storefront per se, but they do need commercial space. So it's, I knew from our searches for Engine 15, trying to find the correct size industrial space is tough. And so I couldn't imagine if you needed even less than what we needed, because this was sort of like a bare minimum, when you kind of look at the, a space like this. So, we currently have several roommates that we work with. Long Road Coffee, so we have a coffee roaster with us. Black Cat Kombucha, so manufacturer of kombucha.
Both of which are on tap.
That's correct. Yeah. Actually, we kind of not only cohabitate, but we also try to wash each other's hands a bit. Where if they're making a good quality, solid product, and we're happy to have them here, we also want to be able to showcase them. So we have both of those products actually on tap in our tap room. So, And then we also have a vintage resale friend, employees only vintage. So that's a fun one. And then Bobby K's Boutique, they do a eclectic fare for. They really end up selling a lot to other retailers. So like they don't really do as much retail sales as much as they sell around the world their products. So it's a shipping and receiving warehouse for them. So on top of that, I run one of my other businesses out of here. Bielman Brewery Services is my sort of day job at this point, and so I'm able to house my stainless steel equipment that I refurbish and manufacture, and then eventually sell to other breweries.
Yeah, BBS. I'm glad you brought it up. We can just transition right to it. You've been with Engine's 15 years old. This is 3 years old, and clearly, you're great at your craft, which is building out the operation to make beer and then sell and potentially distribute. And I believe you got a call one day, and somebody was struggling with an issue. Could have been an operations issue, and it's just funny. We were talking about how life can pivot.
Yeah.
And you just don't even realize it. Tell that story.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a call. You made a little bit of money doing it, and then all of a sudden you became known for the guy that can fix problems.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It was sort of that same time frame where, pandemic had come and it was rough, and there was some pivoting that was happening within Engine 15, and so there was a window there where I wasn't really working with Engine 15, and I had some friends in the industry that I had made that instead of replacing things because of the hard times, people were starting to want to fix things. Yeah. And so I'd gotten a couple of calls from different friends in the industry saying, hey, I know that you've built your own stuff before. Do you mind helping me out? And that turned into them suggesting, one of them actually, that, hey, you should probably charge for this. Like, you know, like I'd feel better if I didn't keep having to ask a favor. And so I thought, okay, whatever, you know, if it makes them happy, I want to do it anyways. I want to be helpful. And so, yeah, I put a price, I guess, on my labor hour. And before I know it, the work doubled. And I was like, well, that wasn't exactly what I was expecting, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't look the gift horse in the mouth. So I said, all right, hey, that works. And that sort of snowballed into getting calls from other people who had talked to those customers, and they said, oh yeah, give Sean a call. He'll probably help you out. And that turned into consulting work. And at this point, the latest iteration is I've gotten to the point where I'm actually designing full brewing equipment in AutoCAD, and then getting it manufactured, and then installing that. So it's been a wild ride, but I couldn't be more thankful for you know what I've been able to do to try to help everybody else and stay in my little industry. So
yeah, so for everybody watching that's thinking, okay, we're in a brewery and you're saying that you design things, but maybe people might not put together, and we're going to talk about now, is you were a civil engineer. This whole thing started because you were working in AutoCAD,
right? Yeah,
and you were doing things of this nature back during the Great Recession.
Yeah, and
you pivoted into beer, and then now it's literally come full circle to where you're doing design again.
Yeah.
Did you, in your wildest dreams, think that was possible?
No. 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 I guess it's the easy answer. No. Every day I kind of pinch myself a little bit. I'm like, how did I, wander my way into this? You know. But I guess it sort of is how I got into the drafting industry in the first place. I wasn't an actual engineer. I worked with engineers, but I was doing civil engineering, drafting, AutoCAD drafting, land development, underground utility works, and I thought that was the best gig in the world. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Never would have thought that, after 8 years of doing it professionally, that I would give it up. But yeah, the times were rough. 2008 was a rough time in all industries, and it gave me an opportunity to sort of have a perspective as to like, is what I'm doing, the end all be all? Is there something else out there? Is there something else I'd like to try to do? And at the time I was home brewing, and so I was passionate about that. And I said, well, if I can get laid off from a good job in a good industry for nothing of my own fault, then I might as well just give something else a try. And if I fall flat, at least I did it on my own accord, and I can't blame anybody else, And so me and a business partner, we came up with a plan for Engine 15, and here we are 15 years later, still operating.
Do you ever walk by this or even Engine, which is an incredibly populated strip, right?
Yeah.
It's right next to Taco Lou.
Correct, yeah.
Mojo's is right there, exactly.
Yep.
So like, that's not cheap.
Nope.
And then you come here and you have your own warehouse, and both of them have your brand on the wall.
Yeah.
You ever have these pinch me moments like, this is kind of nuts? I was home brewing, and now like I have my own pseudo empire.
Yeah. No, yes. I think the answer to the question is it always feels a little bit like a pinch me moment. I always feel honored that I've been able to, get to this point. I do think that it's something that I will always be grateful for, and I also know how hard it is to do it. And I think it gives me perspective when I'm talking with other people about trying to do it, because I'm able to be empathetic when somebody's going, hey, this seems overwhelming, or this seems to be something that is unattainable, and I can speak from a position of like, hey, yeah, it's not going to be easy, or it's this is a way that you could do it differently that might relieve that issue. Yeah. So as much as it does always feel like pinch me moments, I'm always kind of able to use those as ways to try to help the next guy. So yeah.
If there's anybody watching that is trying to build something right now, building a business, and they're really going through it, it's tough times right now too, and they're struggling, and they're wondering every day if what they're doing is the right thing. I mean, what's the one piece of advice that, as somebody that went through it, that you could give them right now to make sure that they keep going?
I know I've used the phrase already, but it's kind of, I think it's the right one for this as well. You don't look the gift horse in the mouth. Some people put together the perfect business plan and they have all the right answers and they've got it all figured out. But then when you get into the thick of it, if you're too focused on, well, this is my plan and that is, a tangent from my plan, or that's not what I thought I wanted to do, you'll miss the big picture a lot of times. So if I could give anybody any advice in business in general, it would be willing to pivot.
Yeah.
Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. If something comes around you think is a way that you could, maneuver to make your business work more effectively or get you out of a situation, that's, you should always look for those sorts of opportunities. It's tough to get stuck in, well, this was my business plan and I want to see it through just like this, versus being willing to pivot.
Well, what's it like for you? I mean, this is another big piece of this is you have an amazing support system at home. How important is it to have somebody that's willing to push you and support you and want to see you win at all times?
It's the key to all of it, really. There's been multiple crossroads in the last, say, 15 years, and even more so in the last 12 since my wife and I have been together, where I may have not made the exact choice that I ended up making had it not been for, her and our conversations and her perspective and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's the key to all of it, really. I couldn't imagine it any other way. So yeah, it's one of the parts that's seems not like something you can force, right?
Yeah.
It has to come naturally. So it may be a tougher thing to obtain, but I've gotten lucky enough to have that counsel and be able to trust that we're always working together.
That's
so,
wonderful, man.
Yeah.
So you're talking about pivoting. I'm going to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
We're in the rail yard district, and you are on the board of this region of Jacksonville. I guess I'll start with this. What does that entail? I mean, who are you on the board with? And I understand it's an advisory committee. What are you guys doing when you meet? Are you guys looking to figure out ways to make this a better place to live, a better place to work? Is there a growth component to it where you guys are trying to expand? On the follow-up part of this is how do you guys band together to try to get people, to attract people to come to this side of town?
Okay. Yeah, so it's called the Rail Yard Business District, and it's comprised of all board members that have businesses within our footprint. So our footprint is 95 up Kings Road to 10 out to McDuff. So it comprises the whole of like the CSX rail yard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we get our naming.
And there is there's like old rail here, right?
All over the place. In fact,
tell us about that.
We actually have the old S-Line rail spit is on our property. So when you come to visit and you walk through our beer garden, you might not notice it because we've sort of incorporated it into our build out. But there's old rail line that is still existing that you can play on.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, the Rail Yard Business District, we advocate for mainly businesses within the district, trying to get new businesses here, trying to put a spotlight on the existing businesses, trying to help us all grow. There's the amount of commerce that I won't butcher the numbers, but the amount of commerce that we have in this district, it is amazing. Like the numbers are quite astounding. It's and the amount of people who are employed here. There are, I would say, again, I don't want to put out numbers because I don't know exactly what they are, but there is a bit of people living in the district as well, but it's really more of a business district, and our goal is to to help both ends. Right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So
Of course.
any businesses that come here help employ people. Hopefully, they can find capable work for people living in the district. So yeah, our focus is really more on the business side, but we do have one member on our board always who is a resident of the area. So,
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, that way we have that voice and that opinion when we're doing stuff. It's a really great group of local business owners who are all, advocating for this area and advocating, to bring a light on all the great work that happens here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I kind of going to put you on the spot. For those unfamiliar with this, I mean, I would say 80% of Jacksonville probably has no idea about this district.
Right.
So, but there's probably businesses in this district that people have heard of that don't realize that this is where they're housed. Some examples of the businesses, if you don't mind, like who's on the committee, and
Yeah.
you don't have to list them all. I'm not.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you in trouble with your neighbors, but who else here?
I'll pick maybe 3 that I think best show the scale and also the diversity. The first one would be Mr. Jeff Edwards. He's the president of the Beaver Street Fishery, which is a massive company that delivers seafood across the nation.
They just went through a transformation of sorts. Is it where they get their fish? Something changed, and it was in a good way.
Yeah.
I think that they sourced their fish in a different place, and they were able to increase production, and then I know that they have a frozen fish brand now that they distribute in like the Winn-Dixies and the Publixes and whatnot. So like that they're
Sea Best, I think, is
Sea
that
Best.
portion of it.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah, they are. No, and they're killing it, and hardworking, great people too. It's always nice to see that side of it. They run a clean operation over there. They're good to their employees. Like that's the side of stuff you don't always get to know or see. Currently, our president is Annie Marie. And her and her husband own and operate a business called Eco Relics. So it's an architectural salvage business. They are
Interesting.
like 3/4 of a mile up the street. Take Myrtle to Dennis to Stockton, and they're right there. They have, I don't know how big their warehouse is. I'll guess 150,000 square feet, and it's chock-a-block full of the most amazing, cool stuff that you could imagine. Their business is literally going in and salvaging architectural features from buildings, doors, windows, lamps, glass,
Dude, that's
whatever it is. And so if you have an old house, it's like the only source you have to like try to find period correct parts, and so that's an amazing business on its own. I find myself in there just wandering some days, just mesmerized by all the stuff. And then one of our other board members, Mr. Frank Wallmeyer, he owns and operates Standard Feed and Seed. So it's a local feed and seed company where you can go and buy plants, you can get dog food, you can get pesticides, you can buy a chicken, you can buy hay. It's just a staple community place where you can go pick up necessities, for everything around your house. So that's a I think a pretty big
I didn't know
spread
most
of stuff, and that's all right here.
I didn't know most of that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is somebody could buy some fish, window shop some architectural stuff, buy some feed, and then come get a beer.
Yeah, because you're going to be thirsty after all that. So absolutely, and bring the kids along because they can come and play.
Yeah. Well, here's a $1 million question for everybody watching, man. So you have your own company, Bielman Brewery Services, okay, where you do a lot of design and you help a lot of different breweries along with their processes. You own Engine 15 Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
You own Myrtle Avenue Brewing. Mm-hmm. You're on the business advisory board for the Rail Yard District.
Right.
And you don't have a single gray hair. You got to drop the secrets. How do you do it?
I have to thank my dad for that one. He's 72 years old now, and I think he just got his first gray hair. So I don't think I can stake claim to any reason other than gotta thank my dad.
Yeah, I'm dealing with so much envy right now. I sit down and talk to people and drink beer, and I somehow am gray. Isn't that amazing? Dude, I appreciate everything. I always like to end with tying everything to Jacksonville. Are you from Jacksonville?
I always say yes because I feel like I am from here. I technically was born in Oceanside, California. My mom's work moved us to New Jersey when I was about 1, and then by 4 we had moved to Jacksonville. And so I don't have any like grandparents here or like aunts and uncles and that kind of stuff growing up.
Yeah.
But it is my home now, and my wife was born and raised here, and we love to go traveling, especially abroad. And we've always had a pact that if we ever went traveling and then came back and weren't happy to be here, we would try to find another home. But we always love coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So, in your personal opinion, what is the most exciting thing about Jacksonville right now?
One thing.
You can pick multiple.
Okay,
I'm fine with that.
So Jacksonville's so spread out. We all know that. It's the biggest little city in the world. I still love the fact that there's so many diverse areas of town. It feels like you can, if you want something, if you want to be immersed in some sort of culture, there's an area of town for almost everything.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think for me, I love the fact that even though the city's growing, even though we're getting more things, we're getting more big city-ish. Somehow, some way, we still seem to be able to keep that vibe of like local, tight-knit, 1 degree of separation sort of community that I think really makes me feel at home.
Yeah, dude, that's wonderful. If there's anything that you would like to see improved, like every city has its faults.
Yeah.
But what's one thing that, as a city, we could collectively get better at?
I mean, from a business perspective, I think there's always still a lot of work that can be done down in, the building department and that area. Not to say that anybody's doing anything wrong, but, if it's your first time trying to start up a business, there's just so many things that you don't know, and there's really nobody there to help you and guide you through it all. And there's so many pitfalls that you can sign something or make do something that later on prohibits you from doing the next thing, but nobody explained that to you. I feel like if we had, and this is maybe too big of a dream, but if we had some way of having a way to help small businesses and guide them through those processes, I think it would help our businesses. We'll get more of them. They'll open quicker.
Yeah.
And they'll be less stressed when they get open because they didn't have to pay rent for months and months and months while they were waiting on paperwork. Those sorts of things. So if there was one thing that kind of comes to mind, and I see this a lot because not only did I have to do a lot of that myself, but when I'm trying to help customers go through that, and there's just there always just seems to be something that holds it up. And if there was a way that we could
it's a little less
streamline some of that stuff, or an entity within that agency that helps guide you through it, I think that would be so beneficial.
reduce the red tape.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a question before we rise? Is there anything on your mind?
I just felt like describing Jason.
Yeah. That's Shedrick. Anything? You feel good? Awesome. That's all right. I'm going to let you tell the world anything that's left on your mind, man. Is there a plug for the brewery to get, to excite people to get out here, or is there anything else we left out? I would definitely want to give you an opportunity to talk about this.
All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I know that the work you're doing to help spread the good word about Jacksonville and all the great things we have going on. We got to thank you first of all.
Of course.
Thank you very much for that. I think for me, I just come back to the idea of just being grateful. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunities to do what I've done and to continue to help people. I want people to know about this area. I want people to understand that we are here, for them. And I think that would be it.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Well, I want to point something out. It's PB and Jax. It's pioneers and builders in Jax. And it's hard for me not to walk around this brewery and see all the different homages that you have put to the history of the city, the history of this building,
Yeah.
and the fact that you sit on an advisory committee for budding businesses in this district, and that you've had an actual footprint in opening multiple businesses, employing people. You are in fact a pioneer, and you've built businesses, which makes you a builder, and you most certainly are Jacksonville. I appreciate you letting us be here. I appreciate the opportunity to know you, and you brew a hell of a beer, dude.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
I appreciate
that so much, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Go!